All right. Welcome back to another episode of Mr. King KMK, also of Knicks Morning Coffee. Okay, today I'm coming to you. We're going to talk about last night's loss against the Chicago Bulls. So, a couple of things to take from that. I mean, after having time to think about it, if I'd have did the show immediately after, I would have probably said some things different. But again, having time, to think about it and even talk a little bit about it with my partner from Knicks Morning Coffee, I start seeing things a little bit different. So it's things like we got to look at what Towns did. That was real heroic. How he was able to come back and just dominate in the second half. You kind of like to see that the whole game. One thing we talked about was that we are not a team that can play lackadaisical through the course of a game. We have to play with force and purpose for the whole game. And when we do that, we just a different team. Totally different animal than us just going out there playing. And I think a lot of that too has to do with some of our opponents. Because one thing that the NBA or people may be saying, we're a contender, but teams don't care. Teams don't want to hear that. Teams are coming in here trying to slay the dragon, and we one of the dragons. So we got to be on our P's and Q's every single night for 48 minutes. But when you look at totality of the game, we had a lot of guys that, although may have gotten off to slow starts, they had good games. Like OG guys had decent games. What Deuce and what Campaign was able to do to get us back in the game, which was very, very noteworthy. That run came with Brunson on the bench. And that happens. I mean, that's sometimes when your superstar go down or out, other guys just pick up the slack. And we did that last night. And that was a nice character move, on our part. And it was also nice of Tibbs to stay with the backcourt that was helping getting it done, because it was like OG, Payne, and then definitely what Towns was doing. And then when we brought Brunson back, he ran offense to see where guys was at, and then he made big buckets the way Brunson know how to do. So at first I was like, damn, could those shots have went to Towns just to see if he could get fouled? But you live and die with your stars, and you say things in the heat of the moment, but that's just the love of the game. But I also look at that play by Josh Hart. Sometimes it's boneheaded, and we know what Josh Hart brings to our team, and so he gets in a sense a pass, because he also did mention that for a lot of the fans that we say the Knicks have lost their identity. No, we're not saying you lost your identity. We are saying that we have to get an identity. Like right now, we know how we finished the season, and if we came back with that same team the way Boston did 2 years ago when they came out of the gate, and the way Cleveland is doing this year coming out of the gate, then different things would be expected. Now, we know what the end game is going to look like. And it's nice that, players do acknowledge things that they hear, but it was also nice of Josh Hart to say, we know what we have, and it's going to take time to gel. And nobody can argue with that. That's a professional answer to give, if you even have to give an answer. You really don't even got to give an answer. But it's nice when you see that a player hears certain cries of the fans, because fans are crying out of passion. They're crying out of love for the New York Knicks. So, kudos to Josh Hart for even making that type of a statement and putting it out there that we hear y'all. And at the same time, we know what we got. So I can't complain about that. Not that it even mattered. But, I appreciate Josh Hart even more, for that. But on the sense of making these type of plays, sometimes like in today's NBA, it just makes me think sometimes even with coaches, it's like coaches get almost like more satisfied with effort over execution. And there's a big difference. Like, the effort, you're supposed to have that every day. You're getting paid millions of dollars. And now even if you was doing it for free, it's for the love of a game that you have since you was a kid. So the effort and energy should already be there. Now, the execution part, that comes from paying attention in practice and having your wits when you see it in the game. You recognize it, and then you make the best play possible. Or you carry out the play that's on the floor, whatever it is. So I just think sometimes you hear more coaches on the sideline preaching effort over execution. And again, I'm not no expert on that because I'm not doing it, but it just be nice sometimes is that the other part, the effort part, you don't got to worry about. And you can just focus on execution because the defense is also trying to stop you. So precise execution helps you run the play that's designed to be ran. And, so again, you want to get last night's win. To me, it could signify a changing of the guard. Nobody's going to be that drastic, but hey, maybe certain times we have to run it through Towns. Towns is showing that put the ball in my hand, I'll hit the cutter. I find the open man, I'll make the play, and halfway through making the play, I'll still look for the open man. But he's also a pretty good finisher for us. So again, nobody's going to jump on that bandwagon, but everything right now has to be looked at. Even though we know we still maybe a couple of weeks away to a month to really figuring out how we're going to play this season. The other thing is when I look at these other teams, these other teams are telling us, listen, y'all got to wake up. Y'all got to wake up and play. We're not laying down for y'all. And then Tibbs got to recognize that on even too. We talked about the other day, running them hot hands. If you see there's a hot hand working, let's work it. Let's get the most out of that, even if we still going to go in other directions and come back to it, just to let these teams know we awake. We know that so-and-so is killing you, and we're going to make them kill you until you stop it. And that don't mean taking somebody else out of their game while we riding somebody else, but it just means that we're putting the play there because we know right now you can't stop it. And until you make an effort to stop it, then we'll redirect it somewhere else. But we have so many weapons on our team that we had to just start figuring out, like, how do the coaches figure out for 48 minutes, how do I take advantage of all my weapons, within one game? And I hate to be a stickler for keep going back to the old days, but when you look at teams like the Boston Celtics and the Los Angeles Lakers from back in the day, they get what they're going to get out of their guys. In the course, Magic and Kareem was the main players, but James Worthy and Byron Scott and Michael Cooper, they got whatever. When that game finished, they squeezed everything out of their orange. And that's what we have to figure out a way to do within a 48-minute game is squeeze everything out of everybody. Everybody. I don't care if they play 5 minutes a game. We got to squeeze what they got while they're in there cohesively, as a unit. And that's only going to make us a better team. And it's going to come a time that this right from yesterday, to me, was our wake-up call. We looking at a direction now we can go in, but we just got to find a way to lock in when the jump ball goes and stay locked in through the end of the game. And we have all those coaches on the bench that should be help preaching that. Keep our head in the game for 48 minutes, and I cannot see an average team beating us. I can't see it. Too much talent. So we're not going to dig too far in to try to hurt what our guys did last night. I love the way we came back. I love the way we was poised and meeting the challenge, and even letting the home crowd know that y'all made a difference. That inspired them. You could tell. And that's going to be the whole season. We ride, we die, we go where we go. But last night now shows that the next couple of games, we got to start out that way. And now you may not really get as a pass because when people start really seeing your capability, the expectations go up. And last night's loss by 1 point, it went up. It went up tremendously. So now y'all got to just come out here. We got the Nets on a back-to-back, and we got to go get both of them. Ain't no sense of giving nothing away. Get both of them, and then let's just start the train rolling down the track it's supposed to go on. All right? So, if you like talking Knicks, I want to hear what y'all got to say. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Peace.